Alright, so welcome. We're going to try to do an introduction to paracording and some of the different things you can make, some of the different things that you'll use in making those items, just as an intro to get us started here. I think the most common is bracelets, and you'll have to forgive me, this is a new camera. I don't know how close to get these items to my camera so you can see them real good. But bracelets is a real common one that people like to do. You can do these bracelets in a few different styles. These are my favorite. This one's real easy to do in one color or two. This one, as of yet, I've just figured out how to do it in one color. One's a little thicker than the other, but those are pretty easy to make. Very little practice required. Keychains is one item that's also pretty fun. You can do them in many different styles with different knots. This one you'll see has got a monkey fist knot on the end, a lanyard knot to finish that off, and then a square knot throughout the body of it. And I threw a split ring on that's way too large for this keychain, but nonetheless. And you can do those in single color or multicolor. They're very easy to do in multicolor like this, with the monkey's fist being one color and the square knot being two. You can also do them with a monkey's fist in two colors. So those are pretty easy to make. You can do a whole bunch of different lanyards for knives. This one's got a rattlesnake knot on there and an adjustable spot for your hand. And you can finish it up with just about any kind of knot you see fit. You could use a monkey's fist, a lanyard knot. This is just a Matthew Walker knot. So those are pretty easy to make. Another thing I did with these rattlesnake knots is I just made a small keychain, which is just the rattlesnake knot, and it's finished off with a real easy lanyard knot. So those are pretty easy to make. And there's one of those in white as well. One of the things I recently found that I really like is coasters. You can make yourself a few different kinds of coasters. And again, I'm not familiar with this camera too much, but you'll see that's a 4-turn. It kind of looks like it's got 4 different spins in there. And this one is a 6-turn. And those are fantastic for coasters. They size really well. You can adjust them as you're making them to be bigger or smaller based upon how many times you run the cord through it. So those are pretty easy once you get the hang of it. There's different methods to tying them. Like, these are two very different knots, the 4-turn and the 6. They're really different. One is more of a Carrick mat, the other is more of a thump mat. You can also do these with Turk's head knots. And once you get into the Turk's heads, you can do them in 5-turn, 7, and a whole bunch of different variations. So those are kind of fun to get into, and I just started making a whole set, and I'm just going to do, these were kind of practice runs, but I'm making a whole set of them in just military colors. And this is a little dirty from rubbing on the desk while I was making it, and it still has the end hanging out, well, both ends actually. So this one is not quite complete. I just need to finish it up and tie those ends off, or singe them rather. But that's going to be the start of my military color paracord set. I've got some olive drab and some coyote colors to start making them with as well. So I think that's going to be the first video in the series, is making one of those coasters. As far as supplies for doing all this stuff, it's pretty easy to get your hands on everything you need. Probably your two most important pieces are going to be a hemostat for grabbing and tightening your paracord. It gets a little tough to grab and tighten when you get into some of the more complicated knots. Those are really easy to pick up. You usually find them in the medical selection at a local pharmacy or something like that. You're going to want a nice set of scissors, something that's sharp and that's going to hold an edge. It does suck to try and cut paracord with something that's not sharp. and you typically don't want to be cutting it with a knife. No matter how sharp it is, you'll make a mess of it. A few of the other items I use a lot is side release buckles, and these are the slightly curved kind. Some people like them, some people don't. If you are making a two-color snake knot bracelet, it is reversible. When I reverse it, the colors will be opposite what they are now, but if you use a slightly curved buckle, you can't really reverse it. So to accommodate that, I've used a metal shackle, which there's a good photo of it there. These I found at Home Depot. They actually have a metal pin that unscrews, so it does take some effort to get them on and off, but they're obviously extremely sturdy. They're stainless steel. You can find them on Amazon as well, but I think these are 3/16 inch, and then those are 5/8 inch buckles. But if you're using the shackle and you do a two-color bracelet, then you'll be able to reverse that around. Another thing I use a fair bit is just carabiner style clips. You can pick those up almost anywhere. Target in the camping section will have them. I have various sizes of split rings for making keychains, and I also have a very small size of split ring, and that is great for the smaller fobs, so that you can have that on there and then attach it to your keychain pretty easily. I use some small wooden balls for my monkey's fist. Those are nice as they're a little bit lighter than metal. If you're using metal ball bearings, it's going to add some weight to your keychain a fair bit. And both the small split rings and the wooden balls in various sizes I got at a local craft store. And S-Veners are another thing that's pretty nice to use. Those are made by Night Eyes, and they have two gates, one on each side, so that you can attach them on each end of something. These are plastic, and they make them in a couple different colors, so I've got black and gray. And that's their smallest size. I think it's size 0, and then if you get a size 1, that's when you're going to get into the metal. It's going to be a little larger. You can see it's almost the size of that whole buckle. Not quite, but just about. So you can use those as for attaching keychains as well. You really can kind of customize how you want to do all this stuff. But this is some of the stuff that I use, the tools, some of the things I've made, just to kind of give you an overview of it. And I apologize about the video quality. We're going to work on getting used to this. I'm just using my personal desk right now, which isn't the greatest for lighting or for contrast, so you can see what everything is. But we'll get all that worked out as the video series continues. But I figure we're going to do a series, and we're going to show you how to make each one of these items. A snake knot bracelet using both the shackle and the buckle. We'll show you a woven bracelet using a buckle. We'll show you a monkey's fist keychain, and there's various things you can do on the end, whether it be a square knot, round sonnet, if that's how you pronounce it, snake knot. There's a couple different ways you can do those, and we'll try to show you each different way. We'll show you the rattlesnake keychains and lanyards. So we'll try to show you each of these items throughout the series, and then if people want to put up some requests, we can try and do that as well. Oh, and I almost forgot. We'll show you how to do these mats as well, or as I call them, just coasters. You could make them significantly larger and use them for a mat of some kind, but for now we'll call them coasters. And so we're going to go through, we'll show you how to make all these things in this video series, and hopefully I can get the camera hammered out and it'll look real nice. So thanks for stopping by.